whatever that may be. Can you guys hear me? Hello.
We can hear you. Good morning.
Morning. Come up, come up, come up, come up wherever you are. And we'll get started in a few minutes. Let people get in here. I'll mod a few people up. Let me PTR. Boo, boo, boo. One, Lisa, Kristen, Howard, even though we're going to watch that mic heavily, Howard. Marina. What is that? One, two, three, four, and Maria. Marina and Maria. And hello, everybody else. Did I mod myself? Yeah, I guess I'm already a mod. Sweet. Was there no Glenda room this morning? I was looking for that room.
Not that I saw. Yeah, it seemed to be missing in action.
Gotcha.
They said last week they might not because both her and Ginger were out of town.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, you deserve a break every once in a while, too. It seems like once a week is not a lot, but then it seems to creep up on you every week. You're like, oh man, it's time to do another one already. I'm not prepared again.
Yeah, I think you should bump it up to 2 days a week.
I could do an office hour if I didn't have to come up with some kind of program and yap the whole time and just like sit here silent and people could ask me questions. That could happen possibly because I'm already running out of like I pretty much now I've done a show or a video or something on like every piece of the Google business profile for the most part. So then it's just updates or dissecting more or changes or something. And there are a couple minor changes, kind of major changes in local services ads that we'll talk about today. But yeah, it gets kind of tough when you're trying to come up with like scheduled programming, quote unquote. Drop your links in the chat if you want to get a review. I did just get a text that somebody lost a bunch of reviews and she thinks it was all the ones from Clubhouse. Um, I also lost like 5 or 7 at one point. A lot of them maybe were from Clubhouse, but I still have a lot from Clubhouse that are sticking also. So I still think I wouldn't overthink that. So drop your link in the chat if you
Yeah,
want
the
to.
same thing happened to me, Derek. All of my Clubhouse reviews disappeared.
Ah, there you go. So maybe I don't know. Do it if you want to. I don't think until further notice, there's no harm in having reviews that don't show up. Um, but if there was, we definitely wouldn't want to keep poking the beast. Okay, so we will watch that and go by whatever evidence comes to bear. So drop your link in the chat if you want to. I guess I can get started. We're 4 after. I'll reset. You're in the Google for Real Estate House. Click the house above to join if you have not already. We're here every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. Today's going to be a little bit shorter because I have an inspection at 10 that I need to get to. So we're going to cut off at like 20 of, quarter of for sure. I'm Derek Bixler, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, single dad of 3, commercial and residential real estate agent of 17 years right now, outdoor adventure sportsman, and Google marketing geek. In this room, we talk about Google local search and getting business from our Google business profiles, local services ads, and other Google marketing tools, as well as other Google non-marketing tools. Replays are available in that link that's pinned atop. That takes you to my website. Yeah, all the replays should be there. Sometimes I forget, but yes, I did add last week's. It should be up to date. They'll be up there. They're also available on Clubhouse. I think I might be too behind on removing them from Clubhouse, but typically, like today, I'll delete last week's, and then this one will sit here until next week to listen to if you want to. And if you get on my email list, they always go out either today or tomorrow with all the replays and all that kind of stuff. Come up to stage. Please invite yourself if I didn't invite you. Moderators, if somebody asks to come up, please bring them up. Because once I get going, I don't look at that stuff at all, really. And if you're a note that if you are in a different profession, not real estate, most of the stuff we talk about here, pretty much all of it will apply and relate to other and translate to other businesses as well. You just kind of insert your business for real estate or whatever you need to do. So we'll get started. We'll do a couple pieces of news, review, exchange, drop your link in the chat if you want to, like I said. Main topic is going to be website optimizations to increase your Google business profile ranking. Your website is your least known, most impactful thing for your Google business profile ranking. A lot of times, if you see a crappy, you're like, why is this person who sucks and they have like 0 reviews and they still outrank me or something? Sometimes it is their website. We'll do a little bit of Ask Me Anything if we have time. Like I said, we're going to be a little bit shorter today. And then next week, not sure. Possibly Ninja Tactics. I'm building a list of like next level kind of after you do all the things that I talk about all the time, or what feels like all the time to me. Then there are some like next level ninja tactics that you can do. And actually, today would be one of the more kind of ninja or next level tactics if you were already, you're in triple digits or 70s reviews and your review getting systems down and you're continually getting them and everything's optimized to hell, and you're posting updates once a week and you're doing all the best practices, and now you want to go to the next level. The website would be one of those things for sure. That's what actually put me over the top when I was struggling to beat, like, there's a guy near me who I mean, his team is enormous, huge, and his Google business profile equals his enormity with like, he might have 800 by now, 700 something last time I checked. But I was trying to beat him, and I eventually did. And the way I did it was with my website and stuff I did on there. Mostly what I'm going to talk about today, not much more, a couple little things, really only one extra thing that I did on my website that I won't talk about today. Well, I'll mention it if you want to do it, but it really put me over the top. So yeah, next week will be maybe those ninja tips if I have enough stored up. I'm making a list of them. If I don't, we'll talk about something else, or I'll come up with something. So before I get into it, I guess I'll do, since we're going to cut it short and I can make the programming as fast as I want to, I'll start with a little bit of Ask Me Anything before I do the news and whatnot. So maybe 1 or 2 questions. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Anybody?
Hey, Mr.
Hey,
Derek,
Derek,
this is
this
Susan
is
Edwards up here in
Shauna.
Chicagoland. Can y'all hear me? I'm in the car.
We hear
Perfect.
you.
I would like to know how to build a one-page website that I can use when I'm wholesaling. When I'm trying to get to those little seller people, and I just want one-page website. I don't really want to send them to my realtor site. And so I don't know if this is a question you can really answer, but I'm curious how and where to build that one page site.
Where essentially you could build it anywhere that you can build a oops I was gonna- essentially you can build it anywhere where you can build a website. It will just be a 1 page website or what have you. Where's your regular website built?
Well, it's through EXP. That's the one that's given to me, and it's optimized fairly well, and it goes to my KV core very well. So, anyway, but I a lot of times when I am reaching out to people, I don't really want them to know that I'm a realtor, too much. Sometimes, you know, it just kind of depends on what I'm going to do with their house. If I'm going to put it on the retail market, obviously that's fantastic, But anyway, I digress. I'm wanting to know the easiest, maybe AI way to build a website.
You could you could just build a one page landing page, and then you could put your links however you want in there, or you could drop them off at the EXP site after you divulge the information you trying to give to them first. So it just depends on how if you like a lot of the realtor companies, their CRP, they siphon the leads from you off from their from the they siphon the leads on the back end, so they no longer become your exclusive leads on the back end. I don't know. It depends on what you're trying to do with it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the reason I asked why what you were using now is because the path of least resistance is to not start some other WordPress Squarespace, like use some new thing that you have no knowledge, or the people that do that stuff for you have no knowledge about. So that's why I asked that question. I mean, there's a million ways you could build a landing page, a sales page. A lot of websites, you could even build a page on your main website, but then you can just remove all the navigation menus and links to other things. So you can essentially have a page on your main website that is a landing page or a sales page, quote unquote. And I think in KV Core, you can build certain pages. I don't build in there, so I don't know. I do know how to do the optimizations I'm going to talk about today. I've never built custom like landing pages in there. You can build custom website pages in there, whether you can remove all the navigation and whatnot, I don't know. Um, yeah, that'd be probably a long conversation. I know in Canva you can build websites. I mean, you can click create website and then you type in the type of website you want and there's a template for it and then you edit it pretty much just like a Canva thing, and then you click the share button, and really you can websiteify anything on Canva. Any document you make, you can click share as a website, and maybe this is a paid feature. I don't know. I pay for it. So really, any Canva document could be a website, and if you don't buy a URL or whatever for it, then it's just like a big long Canva URL or whatever they give you. If you wanted it to be prettier, you could use a Bitly link, which you should be tracking it somehow anyway. So that would be a somewhat easy way. About the easiest way I could think of for a layman to make a website would probably be Canva, because most people are somewhat familiar with designing on there and they have templates galore. Um, but yeah, get with me if you want more better guidance, better guidance. Hit me up later. But yeah, that could be a long conversation. But I would keep it as simple as possible. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. Does that
That's
satisfy you
excellent.
for
That's
now?
excellent help. Yeah. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you very much, Derek. That's excellent help.
Yeah, no problem. Reach out if you need to. Anybody else? Anything? And thanks, Hidden, for that, for chiming in there and for the input. And if anybody else ever, I usually say that in my reset, but yeah, I'm not the knower of everything. So if anybody has any experiences or input on the things I'm talking about, please do so. No other questions? All right. Well, that's good because we got about 30 minutes and I could fill that up somewhat easily. Um, so with news, what news do I have? Yeah, somewhat. Well, this first piece of news does not have anything to do with Google, but I heard it on a podcast and just wanted to mention it, or maybe anybody else has heard it. I heard that Meta Verified they're going to bring out Meta Verified for businesses, and what they said in the podcast is it will start at $350 a month in the US. I think they already have it in the UK is what I heard on the podcast I listened to. And it starts at 500, or maybe 500 is the top tier or something. But there's going to be Meta Verified for businesses, and they didn't go into great detail about what it gets because I don't think anybody had it in the US, maybe. But I am going to check that out and see what's up with that. I'm sure you get more exposure somehow, but for $350 a month, I would definitely want to know what I was getting. Not just, I don't want just access to a help desk, because I've heard that even when you pay for Meta Verified, the access to the help desk when you have an issue with identity or something still isn't great. I've heard horror stories still. So if you're paying $350 just for that, hell no. I mean, you would get a blue check probably next to your business, which would make it a little bit better. But anyway, that's just a little tidbit I heard. Meta Verified for businesses is here or coming soon. I haven't tried to do it or look deeper into it myself. Uh, Local services adds a couple pieces of news there. Yesterday, midday, it happened, or at least for my accounts, it happened. The photos section in there changed. So when you go into your local services ads account and you go to under profile and budget, there's a photo section in there that's somewhat similar to the Google business profile, and I tend to direct people to mirror what you do in the Google business profile on your local services ads photos section. That photo section, you used to click on edit photos. It would take you in there and have some tabs that said products, team, uh, workplace, maybe vehicle, something like that. There were 5 tabs. Projects and team were the ones I used mostly. Logo was one of them. So there are all these kind of tabs, and then you could put things in these different tabs. But now, as of yesterday, and maybe it's not in every account, I checked a couple accounts, and it seemed to have changed midday. But now, if you click the photos, add photos button, it takes you to a screen that does not have any of those tabs. So apparently we can't, it's just going to put it wherever it wants to. It does have some new tabs that I probably should have opened that before I started talking about it. One of the tabs says all your photos. So you look at all your photos and then you can click on them to delete them or do something with. And then one of them was pending, photos that you uploaded that were pending review, because they will block certain photos, like photos of kids. If you have client photos with kids in them, I would generally keep kids out of photos, probably, if at all possible. But Google Local Services ads for sure will block pretty much even dog. If you're holding a dog facing forward, it will block those pictures a lot of times. And if Local Services ads doesn't like them, I would probably keep them off a Google Business Profile too. I would guess maybe kid pictures on there might get blocked too. But anyway, it'll show you the ones that are pending because it will review them before it puts them on your profile, on your Local Services ads profile. And then there are some, I forget what the tab says, uh, issues with or something like that. Basically, photos that were rejected for the most part, and you want to make sure you click on those ones and delete them. So the tabs of like which section, products, teams, all that disappeared, but now there are these different tabs of here's all your photos, here's the ones that are pending, and here are the ones that were rejected. And you definitely want to delete any that were rejected. And I found yesterday ones that were rejected that were not previously rejected. So they must have turned on some whole new system to scan the photos, which makes a little bit of sense because a couple of weeks ago they sent, maybe a month ago now, they sent out an email for Local Services ads that said to add photos to your Local Services ads, it'll help get you leads. And basically, nothing had changed. The photo section was still there. We had always been putting photos in there because that's the only differentiator if they're comparing profiles there. Um, but it did, as of that email, I looked at kind of the little screenshot, or maybe I clicked on it, I forget, but I figured out that it looked as if they were going to now, for Local Services ads, not necessarily always use your headshot as the image. Sometimes it will use a photo from your photos section as the image in your Local Services ads. So I think that's maybe part of one of the changes. And now, since they're going to do that and they're going to start using your photos in paid ads out there on the main thing, then they want to process it and make sure it's compliant and everything. So I think that's why they did this whole photos change in the Local Services ads. So that's if you do what I do, it's somewhat major. If you're doing your best practices and you're adding photos everywhere you should, and you have Local Services ads, you should be in there hopefully doing that. If you're not, definitely pay attention to that. Go and do that. And then also Local Services ads news. Well, I'll stop. Any questions about the photo section on Local Services ads? Cool. Second piece of news, and if you think of one, just interject. The reviews, verified reviews on the Local Services ads apparently are going away. So if you have Local Services ads, you know that you have or hopefully you have a second review link, which gets you quote unquote verified reviews, which only show up on your Local Services ads, do not populate to your Google Business Profile. And they have a little tag on it that says verify. I think it says verified. And if you called Google and said, how do I get more leads? They would say, up your budget, add more photos, answer the phone when it rings, sort your leads properly to give Google all the data they want, and get verified reviews. If you got verified reviews in the past, would it help you get leads? Possibly, maybe. In tests that I ran, sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. It would make sense that it would, but I didn't see the benefit, enough benefit to do them there because they don't populate to your Google Business Profile. So up until now, we've been ignoring it for the most part anyway, because reviews on your Google business profile do populate to your local services ads. And your local services ads would be more of a temporary thing, something that might go away, or Google changes it, like I'm about to tell you to change. And now all those verified reviews you spent time getting are pretty much non-existent, go away, don't matter, and disappear. So the change is the verified reviews are going away. So I don't know if the ones you already got will disappear. I didn't hear them comment on that, but that extra link is going to disappear, and it's all just Google business profile reviews, and it's gonna link a little bit more heavily to your Google business profile. So verified reviews going away, which are the local services ads link, those are going away to in favor of only the Google business profile reviews, and they will populate to both places, which is a fantastic change. Anybody that deals with this stuff know the verified reviews were almost even worse a lot of the time than Google business profile reviews, as far as not showing up or having problems with the help desk, blah blah blah, and glitches and whatnot. So everybody's hated them. Plus, it's this temporary place, like I said, and a lot of people, and it's also been gamed. It's one of the most heavily spammed things, local services ads reviews. So I think they're trying to clean some of that up, tie it to a Google business profile that's more vetted and verified and whatnot. So a lot of different reasons they are doing it, but verified reviews are going away. If you are currently out there campaigning to get verified reviews or get reviews with your local services ads review link, I would stop doing that right now. I probably wouldn't have been doing it anyway. Or sometimes I tell people to do like a 3-to-1 or 5-to-1 ratio, get 5 over here, then 1 on verified to maybe get you an extra lead on local services ads. But now it is a complete waste of time, assuming what they said is true, and it's pretty reputable podcast. So I'm looking at the screen. I still have the link, but those things take some time to happen sometimes. So those are the pieces of news. Any questions on your local services ads reviews, verified reviews? Cool. All right. 20 minutes to get through website optimizations, which I can do. So website optimizations that can increase your Google business profile ranking. Like I said before, your website is the most impactful, least known thing on a Google business profile. When somebody's beating somebody else, not a lot of times, many times, that's the same as a lot. It is their website. Like if you see, like I said, somebody that's crappy, you think you should be beating them. Why are they beating me? It's a lot of times their website. I've seen or heard people talk about case studies, numerous case studies where a lot of time, the one that I heard was a dental implant, I think, and this dental implant company, their Google business profile barely even existed. It was like they didn't even claim it. It just kind of was out there, maybe had one review, just had a picture of the Google car driving past, didn't have any photos added, didn't have anything filled out, no website. Well, it had a website because that's how it got ranked, but it sucked. It was terrible and it should not be ranking. But then when they investigated, it was ranking for the term dental implants, and the website, that's all it talked about was dental implants. It didn't have pages about tooth whitening or uh, other dental services. It just every page was about dental implants, and a big, they spent a lot of time on their website making a lot of pages about dental implants, and that's all they talked about was dental implants. And Google loves speciality and loves serving up people that specialize in things, and there's no better way to tell Google that you specialize in a thing than your website. And there's numerous case studies, like I just mentioned, where the Google business profile sucks, and then when they investigate deeper, they rank for certain search terms because the website is just like really, really dialed in about talking about that one thing over and over and over again on the whole website. So your website's super important for your Google business profile ranking. And there are steps beyond what we're going to talk about today. But these simple steps I'm going to talk about, you should be able to do in any website builder, I know you can do it in KV Core because I do it for people, Squarespace, WordPress, obviously you can, Wix, almost any YLOPO, I would guess you probably can. These little changes you can do on any website for the most part. And if you can't figure it out, hit me up and possibly steer you in the right direction, or maybe do it for you. KV Core, I definitely have a package for that. Other websites, I would need to know what it is, and WordPress, I'm fairly decent at. But anyway, so anybody should be able to do these things. If you want the list of the things, I could probably provide it, I guess. I kind of gate that for clients and course people, but I said it out loud now. So if you want it, hit me up with your email address. That, how about that? You can give me your email address in exchange for this kind of list and template, or you can just listen back and write these down. So should be able to do these on any website for the most part. I'm going to give you a list of the items. If you email me, I will give you actual, like what mine is, and then you can just copy paste and change certain things that you need to. But before I get into that, one thing that everybody needs to do, and hopefully you have a website that's forever. It's not a KV Core, it's not a YLOPO, it's not a another insert CRM or IDX feed. Hopefully, it's a forever website, something that you're going to keep forever, that you would sell with your book of business, just like you would with your Facebook business profile, your email list. All these things are business assets that get sold with your business, and your website can really only have any power on the internet and on Google if it is a long-standing website. Length of time is a factor in it. Plus, you are always adding to it, optimizing it, and this is a forever thing that compounds and increases in value and can be out there working for you if you're doing things correctly. So hopefully you have some kind of website, and it doesn't have to be some heady custom built super expensive WordPress. Or I do like WordPress, and WordPress is not heady. They have templates and things just like everything else, but it does not have to be some crazy thing. It could be built in, actually Wix would probably be the kind of like basic or more basic builder that I would usually suggest. They concentrate a lot more on SEO these days. A lot of times you'll see them as the sponsor for a lot of the like SEO webinars that I go to, local SEO stuff. So Wix, and a lot of the SEO gurus that I listen to seem to mention Wix more than other kind of little website builders. So Wix would probably be a good one, and then WordPress or any others really would work too. Just something that you're going to keep forever and not get rid of just because you switched brokerages or are switching IDX feeds or CRMs or whatever. So once you have your forever website, because this step does not make sense to do if it's not a forever website, you want to go to Google Search Console. Google Search Console, and actually I'll put the link in the chat if anybody wants to grab it. If I can find the chat. And at Google Search Console, you can for free tell Google to properly scan your website, or quote unquote index. Now I can't find my page I was on. There we go. Yeah, so on Google Search Console, you want to make sure that Google is scanning your website, and indexing just means scanning it and putting it in a ledger somewhere and indexing all the pages on your site, and it's scanning all the text and the images and all the things on your website. You want to make sure that Google is scanning your website, because you can't rank and it can't really help your Google business profile that much if Google does not know it's there and is not scanning it and doing all those things properly. So for free, you can go to Google Search Console, and again, I put the link in the chat if you want to grab it, or you can. I'll include that with the website stuff too if you hit me up for that. For free, you can upload it. It'll basically just ask you what's your URL. Typically, you have to log into your service provider, GoDaddy or Wix or whatever, to give permission to Google that you own it, or prove to them that you own it. Sometimes you have to put a code on your website, which is fairly easy, maybe hard for the layman, but if you need help with that, I could do it. But fairly easy to add your website to Google Search Console, and then Google, you can make sure it's scanning your website. It will tell you if there are issues or if there are pages that it is not scanning or indexing. Sometimes you have some that you have purposely turned off or you don't want it to. And then you will also get emails sometimes that says there's a problem with this page on your website. It'll tell you about traffic to your website and give you some analytics. It's not Google Analytics, but it'll give you some kind of information. Sometimes it'll tell you if there's like mobility issues with this page, these videos are too close together or something. It'll give you those kinds of alerts as well. But the main thing you want to worry about there is just, and it's free. Everybody should be doing this. If it's, well, even if it's a temporary website, I guess if that's all you got, I would still do it. I would hopefully get a forever website to do it with, but even a temporary one would probably work. But you definitely want to make sure Google is scanning your website properly, and then you can also get some extra tips and things on it as well if you wanted to. Any questions on Google Search Console? Fairly straightforward, I suppose. Cool. All right. So now you made sure, well, you picked a forever website, hopefully. You have made sure that Google is scanning your forever website and scanning every new page that you add to your website. Now you need to optimize your website. And maybe you optimized it before you put it into Search Console. Maybe that would be the true professional order of operations, but either way would work. Just get it done and do it. Google Search Console is the easiest, quickest win, so that could feel good. Just go do that, and you're like, oh, sweet, I did something today. And then go in here and do these a little bit more tedious things, but not crazy. So none of this stuff I'm going to go over has to do with coding or putting code on your website. These are all just plug and play things that you can do on your website. So every website, well, let me back up. The goal here is to reiterate the search terms that we are trying to rank for. So I'm trying to rank for Carlisle Realtor and Boiling Springs Realtor, Carlisle Real Estate Agent, yada, yada. But basically, I'm trying to rank for Carlisle Realtor. So in my Google business profile, name, I am Derek Bixler, Carlisle and Boiling Springs Realtor. When you go to my website, Carlisle Boiling Springs Realtor, and you're just reiterating that Carlisle Realtor, Carlisle Real Estate Agent, all over your website in strategic places that will have the most bang for your buck. So the places where you want to put that, again, the keyword would be your town, your state, realtor, or real estate agent. Carlisle real estate agent, Carlisle realtor, Carlisle, Pennsylvania real estate agent, Carlisle, Pennsylvania realtor, and different variations of that phrase. You want to get those phrases and different variations of that phrase into strategic places. You want to start with the main places that tells Google what your site is about. The main things that the main meta information for your site, the first things that Google scans when it scans your site. It kind of scans the main meta information, your main site title, tagline, blah, 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 all the stuff on your homepage, and then it gives the most weight to that stuff, and then everything behind it, all the sub pages and blog posts and everything else kind of support that main stuff. So all that main stuff is very easy to change. The main stuff being the main site title. And every KV Core, Ylo, pretty much any website builder will have a place where you can change these things that I'm about to list off right now. So the main site title. My main site title is Derek Bixler Realtor because that's what I am, and I want my website to come up when people Google my name, and it does, and my pictures that I dictate come up as images for me. But so my main site title is Derek Bixler Realtor, and then there's like a nice, pretty separator line, and then Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania Real Estate Agent. So in my site title, I've got my name, I've got the word realtor, I've got Carlisle, I've got Pennsylvania, I've got Boiling Springs, which is just adjacent, and I rank pretty well for there. And then I had the term real estate agent. And then in the term real estate agent, you actually get two keywords. You get real estate and real estate agent. And actually, if you tack on the word before it, you get Pennsylvania real estate also in there, keywording. So the site title, Derek Bixler, Realtor, Carlisle, Pennsylvania real estate agent. And then your main site tagline. Kind of same thing there. You might actually have somewhat of a tagline. Mine is guaranteed and unmatched sellers agent services and superb buyer agent services. So that tells I worded sellers agent services because Google in the services section on the Google business profile, they call it sellers agent services. They don't call it listing agent. They call it sellers agent services. Buying agent, I wouldn't say buying agent. I would say buyer's agent, but Google calls it buying agent. So I called it buying agent. Does that matter so much? Maybe not, but I like to be very literal and watch what Google does and kind of follow it. But says my kind of tagline and then says in the Carlisle, Pennsylvania and Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania area. So Um, I've called out the keywords seller's agent services, buying agents services, and then Carlisle again is in there. Boiling Springs again is in there. Pennsylvania is in there again. I think I ran out of line space. A lot of times you have a certain number of characters. I would probably, looking at this again, would like the word real estate agent or real estate or realtor maybe, but might be some reason I left it out. But you get the idea. So the site title you should be able to change. The site tagline you should be able to change. The logo, most times you can upload a logo. You could use the same exact logo you're using right now, but before you want to re-upload it, or possibly in your website builder, you could do what you could just edit the things, but you want to title it like the actual file name title of the image. You want to first say exactly what it is. Logo for Derek Bixler, because you want to think of SEO also as like if a blind person is looking at a website and they have these scanners that read everything on the screen to them, that's how you want to set it up for Google and SEO also. You want it to be so that this reader, when it goes across your logo, it doesn't say to the blind person 54x3 54 image PNG. It says logo of Derek Bixler, Carlisle and Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania realtor and real estate agent with EXP Realty. So you want to think about it, you could think about it in that way that you're kind of structuring your whole website for a, a blind person accessibility, and that all that stuff also applies to Google. So you want to be very literal. That logo, you just run a rename it, the file name itself, and if you can access the alt text, you can put it in there as well. And even sometimes there's a description for the image on a website. But your logo, you want to redo that. They all have a spot to put your logo, and mine again is called Logo for Derek Bixler, Carlisle and Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania realtor and real estate agent with EXP Realty. So I got my brokerage in there. I got real estate agent. I got Pennsylvania realtor. I got realtor. I got my name. I also said exactly what it is. It is a logo for all those things. Um, so the logo you want to do, the homepage header image. So like I said, they're scanning your homepage first, top to bottom, is kind of how somebody would read it, is how it's scanned. It does it very, very, very fast, but it does give precedence and power to things that appear on a homepage or are structured certain ways. So also your main homepage header image, and every image on your website for that matter, but the homepage header image, that one almost every website allows you to, they have a few you can pick from, but you can upload your own. You want to replace that image. You want to go get with your phone, not a photographer. You want all that metadata with the location and pixels and what phone it was taken on and where and what time and all those things. You want all that stuff on there. Go take a picture of like a streetscape in your town or a nice neighborhood or something kind of real estate looking. My homepage image is a kind of a streetscape focused on a landmark, the Carlisle Theater, which is this old timey like 60s theater thing. But yours could be more real estatey, but you want it to be a main you want it to be original, number one, not from Canva, not stock. Google scans it and sees that this exists nowhere else, and it scans all that other data and sees it was taken right there in Carlisle. And don't take a picture in a different city where you're not trying to keyword. You want to take it right where you, basically in the city where you are verified and sitting, and then leave all that data on there. Don't upload it into Canva and change stuff and then get the image back. That strips it of everything. So just a nice, pretty, awesome real estate kind of looking image for that that header image. And then also you want to title and alt text title that header image, all that same stuff, and say what it is. So mine says homepage header image of Carlisle Theater at 40 West High Street in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Derek Bixler, and then you could tack on Derek Bixler, realtor and real estate agent in Carlisle or whatever. So you also want to do it with that main page header image as well. Um, your headshot, they all give you a place, or most give you a place to put your headshot and write an about section in that headshot thing. Same thing there. You want to, it should be titled, named, alt text, headshot of Derek Bixler, Carlisle and Boiling Springs, Pennsylvania realtor and real estate agent with EXP Realty, or something to that effect. Um, your site favicon, I didn't even know this was on my list. If you have a site favicon, you could do the same thing there. The favicon is like the little button or icon that it uses rather than just having a plain URL, or I forget what the blanket plain thing is, like when you put a shortcut, or mainly where you see it, I guess, is if you put a shortcut in your shortcut bar, it has a little icon. That's your favicon or site icon. If you can do that, I would do the same thing there, keyword that image and everything. My favicon is just the same thing as my headshot, so it doubles as my site icon and favicon. And then that's it. Other than also putting, what time? 41. I do need to get done, so that's good. You want to also put in those words, your town, your state, realtor, real estate agent, and all those keywords I was talking about throughout text on the website as well. So in your about section, which most every website lets you do, write a couple paragraphs. I would fill up all the characters you can there, and I would definitely make sure, again, Carlisle, Pennsylvania, realtor and real estate agent, sellers agent services, buying agent services, just talk about all those things very literally in there, so that when Google scans your site, they're like, oh, this person definitely does exactly what they are talking about and saying they do on their Google business profile. Um, and then there are some more heady things that you can do if you can change headings, heady headings. Um, and you know about H1s and H2s and H3 structuring. Again, that's getting a little bit more heady. But if you can structure your headings a little bit better and word it better and maybe get some of those keywords in your headings as well. Like sometimes you have a featured properties thing. That heading, Google gives a lot of importance to headings. If that heading said featured Carlisle properties instead of just featured properties, that's another opportunity to say to Google that, hey, I sell Carlisle properties in Carlisle, and it's in another heading in there. So your headings can be structured a certain way, and they can be, I won't get into further with that, but trying to get a little bit of keywords in your headings. And then other places where there's opportunity to write or add your own text. Don't be spammy with it. Don't sandwich in Carlisle Realtor, ugly, ugly, everywhere, everywhere. You can't do that. That doesn't help. But you can stick it in strategically in wherever you can. So I do have to run like as fast as possible. I think I got through everything. Does anybody have any questions or anything real quick?
I just want to say you can add your logo as your favorite kind.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. If you got a logo, use that as your favicon. Some people like to design a specific favicon or icon for their business. For real estate, I like the headshot because it's converts, it's who we are. Although when it's tiny like that, a logo might be better. Um, and I think you can do a PNG with a transparent background, so then you actually do end up with those like cool logos, like the Bitly and all the ones you see on your dashboard or whatever. Um,
Also,
anything else?
you can go to Tiny PNG, just kind of make the picture smaller and that it it'll fit. So try.
Think you were breaking up. Yeah. Your page speed is important, and that's getting a little bit into it too. But your page speed on your website is important. If you have really large images on your website, it could slow it down. I won't get into that and complicate it with you guys right now. Just do the damn thing. But yes, an application like Tiny PNG, or sometimes website builders do it on its own or has the option to shrink your images for you, so that hopefully, usually they do it in a way where you still have a lot of the resolution, but it will shrink the size of it so it loads a lot faster. And on that point, I would not have a video at the top. A lot of those, especially the KV Core one that lets you put like a video at the top, it'll slow it down. Like people will leave for sure. So I would not do that. But all right, quarter of. I do got to run right this second because I cannot be late for this. But luckily, all my business is within blocks of my house because of my marketing brings stuff exactly where I want it to be. So I'm loving how it is, actually working to centralize. I've always gotten stuff from my Google, but I haven't been hardcore about trying to rank number one in a place and do that. And it really this spring's surge kind of proved it to me because all my business, all the stuff I've gotten from Google, is right here. So anyway, let me stop blabbing. Thanks for everybody for being here. Sorry I couldn't open up more for questions and answers. Maybe I will do a second room for some open office hours or something. But thanks for being here, everybody. And enjoy your day. Hit me up if you need anything. Peace out.
Thanks, Derek.
Thanks, Derek. Have a great day.
See you, everybody.